big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online.
You are watching The World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. Let's begin with the headlines we're tracking currently. The Saudi man identified as 50-year-old Talib Al-Abdul Mohsen has been remanded in custody for driving a car into German Christmas market on charges of murder and attempted murder. Several media reports highlight that the suspect attacker had made online death threats against German citizens in the past. Prime Minister Modi received Kuwait's highest honor, the Order of Mubarak Al-Kabir. This was the 20th international honor given to Prime Minister Modi by a country. Syria's new rulers appointed Murhaf Abu Kasra, a leading figure in the insurgency that toppled Bashar al-Assad, as defense minister in the interim government. Donald Trump has demanded that the Panama Canal be given to the United States in Panama if Panama did not manage the waterway in a fashion that was acceptable to the US president-elect, and he accused the Central American country of charging excessive rates for use of the ocean connecting ship passage. Mark Burnett, the producer who helped reintroduce Donald Trump to a national TV audience with The Apprentice, is being tapped by the president-elect in the United States as special envoy to the United Kingdom in his upcoming administration. India is deploying artificial intelligence in its battle against the world's worst tuberculosis epidemic. The infectious disease killed more people than any other in 2023, reclaiming the top spot from COVID-19, and a quarter of all cases are in India. Well, a big focus. The Saudi man identified as 50-year-old Talib Al-Abdul has been remanded in custody for driving a car into a German Christmas market in an attack that killed at least 5 people and injured over 200 others on charges of murder and attempted murder. Now, several media reports highlight that the suspect attacker had made online death threats against German citizens in the past. However, this deadly attack at this German Christmas market resurfaced bitter divisions over immigration and security. In fact, right-wing anti-immigration figures both inside Germany and abroad seized on Friday's incident after authorities identified the suspect, accused of driving that SUV through a crowd, killing 5, as a Saudi doctor. But some modified their tone following revelations that the man who arrived in Germany back in 2006 had actually criticized Islam and sympathized with the far right. But analysts highlight that this attack creates uncertainty at a time when certainties are already crumbling. And it will undoubtedly factor into Germany's February election, called after the government collapsed, and comes as the country grapples with broad economic discontent. In other news, during the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Kuwait in 43 years, Prime Minister Modi received Kuwait's highest honor, the Order of Mubarak Al-Kabir. This is now the 20th international honor given to Prime Minister Modi by a country. But just listen in to what he had to say while he was in the Gulf nation regarding workers' deaths there and also the ties between our two nations.
साथियों, भारत और कुवैत का रिश्ता सभ्यताओं का है, सागर का है, स्नेह का है, व्यापार कारोबार का है। भारत और कुवैत अरब सागर के दो किनारों पर बसे हैं। हमें सिर्फ डिप्लोमेसी ने ही नहीं बल्कि दिलों ने आपस में जोड़ा है। हमारा वर्तमान ही नहीं बल्कि हमारा अतीत भी हमें जोड़ता है।
Well, switching tracks, Donald Trump has demanded that the Panama Canal be given back to the United States if Panama did not manage the waterway in a fashion that was acceptable to him. And he accused the Central American country of charging excessive rates for use of the ocean connecting shipping passage. Trump has basically said the Panama Canal should lower its fees or be given to Washington. So a little context for you here. The US actually built and administered the canal before transitioning control to Panama in 1999. Trump warned the waterway should not fall into the wrong hands, which is an apparent reference to China, although no Chinese entity actually manages the flow of ships through the canal. The threat, though, reflects Trump's hardball diplomacy, expected to be more pronounced as he enters his second term. He actually recently mocked Canada as well as the 51st state. And the willingness to go after allies ought to be a warning to other strife-torn governments in places like France, Germany, and South Korea, where political chaos and internal divides could make it hard to fight back. This is something analysts have also argued.
Our Navy and Commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop. The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal.
Well, with that, let's turn our attention now to Syria, where new rulers appointed Murhaf Abu Qasra, who's a leading figure in the insurgency that toppled Bashar al-Assad, as defense minister in the interim government. This as Western officials are moving to deepen their engagement with Syria's transitional government, just as fresh uncertainty emerged on another Middle Eastern front. Meanwhile, a quick update from the United States, where a strike of Starbucks workers expected to last until Christmas Eve has now expanded to 10 major US cities. Bad news for last-minute shoppers looking to stop for a coffee break. But the strike also comes after similar action was taken during the holiday season by warehouse workers at Amazon, who walked out of 7 delivery hubs. Here are the finer details.
With Christmas just days away, Amazon and Starbucks employees are striking across the country as the companies and their workers remain at odds. On Thursday, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters launched what it is calling the largest Amazon strike in U.S. history. Meanwhile, Starbucks Workers United kicked off their strike on Friday in a set of protests set to last through Christmas Eve. Amazon's Teamsters are demanding higher wages, better benefits, and safer working conditions. Workers joined the picket lines after Amazon ignored a union deadline for contract negotiations. Strikes are taking place at delivery hubs in Southern California, as well as locations in New York City, Atlanta, Skokie, and San Francisco. The timing of the strike amid the crucial holiday season is no accident. The Teamsters are focusing on delivery drivers who work for contractors handling Amazon's package deliveries. While Amazon insists the strikes won't disrupt holiday shipments, workers remain firm in their stance.
We're hardworking individuals. We work hard every day, and I think $1 billion company could afford to give us the benefits that we're looking for.
At Starbucks, workers at over 500 stores have voted to unionize. The union accuses the coffee giant of failing to honor a February commitment to reach a labor agreement. Strikes began in cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and Seattle, and could spread to hundreds more by Christmas Eve. Starbucks employees are demanding a base rate of $20 an hour for baristas, $25.40 for supervisors, 5% annual raises, and cost of living adjustments. Other key demands include 100% employer-paid health care, automatic 401k retirement enrollment, and 13 days of paid sick leave for all workers. With the strikes hitting just as millions of Americans prepare for the holidays, workers are sending a clear message. They want fair wages and working conditions now. Samia Afsar, NDTV World.
Well, let's switch tracks to Canada now, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's leadership faces a defining moment as Chrystia Freeland stepped down from her roles as Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. But her resignation intensified calls within the Liberal caucus for Trudeau to step aside, leaving his government in turmoil. But just when the walls seem to be closing in, Trudeau has carried out a bold reshuffle, bringing in 8 new ministers. These fresh faces are actually being seen not just as reinforcements, but as Trudeau's last line of defense. So who's in and who's out? Well, just take a look.
We cannot have a chaotic clown show running our government into the ground.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's leadership faced a defining moment as Chrystia Freeland stepped down from her roles as Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. Her resignation intensified calls within the Liberal caucus for Trudeau to step aside, leaving his government in turmoil. Just when the walls seemed to be closing in, Trudeau carried out a bold reshuffle, bringing in 8 new ministers. These fresh faces are being seen not just as reinforcements, but as Trudeau's last line of defense. Toronto MP Nathaniel Erskine-Smith takes on the housing portfolio at a time when Canadians are struggling with skyrocketing rents and home prices. Erskine-Smith runs a podcast, Uncommons, where he discusses policy issues with political figures across party lines. He once criticized the Liberal government's response to housing affordability, a portfolio he now leads. David McGuinty, a Liberal stalwart from Ottawa South, takes charge of public safety. With 7 years of experience chairing the National Security and Intelligence Committee, McGuinty is a critical asset for Trudeau as his government faces criticism over national security and foreign interference. Montreal MP Rachel Bendian steps up as a fierce advocate for Trudeau's agenda. She was a partner at a major Montreal law firm before entering politics. A staunch advocate of stricter gun control laws, she represents École Polytechnique de Montréal, the site of the 1989 massacre, which has deeply influenced her stance on public safety. Ruby Sahota, MP from Brampton North, takes on the dual task of bolstering Canada's democratic framework and driving economic growth in southern Ontario. Sahota is fluent in Punjabi and often addresses community events in multiple languages, strengthening her connection to Canada's multicultural electorate. Terry DeGuid from Manitoba is now tasked with bridging the Liberal government's gaps in the prairies. His background as an environmentalist and advisor on water issues positions him as a fresh voice for the region. DeGuid is one of the PMO's go-to advisors on green initiatives. Nova Scotia's Darren Fisher steps in as Minister of Veteran Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defence. Fisher is a self-described policy nerd who often takes deep dives into military and veterans issues. He is also a member of the National Security and Intelligence Committee. Joanne Thompson, MP for St. John's East, leverages her healthcare background to lead the seniors portfolio. Before politics, Thompson ran the Gathering Place, a health centre supporting vulnerable populations in Newfoundland. Elizabeth Brady of Sherbrooke, Quebec, takes over national revenue, ensuring Trudeau retains a stronghold in his home province.
She brings her legal and community-focused background to the revenue portfolio, facing challenges on multiple fronts: housing, inflation, and national security. These ministers are being called upon to help Trudeau hold the line. This reshuffle is Trudeau's boldest gamble yet. Trudeau's new team has shown up to rescue his leadership and the Liberal Party's future ahead of the 2025 federal election. Whether this move reinvigorates his government or proves to be his last stand will depend on how this team delivers. With Rhythm Arcadia, Bureau Report for NDTV World.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn reward with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation, production excellence to regional leadership. NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
from Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi.
NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The Breakfast Show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation, production excellence to regional leadership, NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
from Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi.
NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m. Well, are you geared to explore the magic of Christmas in Britain? Well, from London's iconic winter wonderland and dazzling street lights to Scotland's stylish Christmas markets. Plus a festive twist at Indian pubs in London ahead of Christmas. Take a glimpse of all of this with my colleague Radhika Iyer.
It's a very busy time of the year. Christmas is around the corner and I am at the night of Notting Hill. Look at how busy this pub is. This is a gastropub where the celebrities party too. Priyanka Chopra and her husband Nick Jonas was here and I'm here now. And the reason I'm coming to you from Night of Notting Hill is because I have with me Zorawar Singh. This young man owns this gastropub. And I love the Christmassy decor. So the question I'm going to ask you, Zora, is the connection between British culture, Christmas, and Indian food. Take us through these three elements and how you're bringing it together.
So basically how we're bringing it together is we're combining like our flavors. Okay. We're combining our flavors with the English culture, and the people are loving the food because they love Indian food in pubs in London. So we're bringing that together with a lot of Christmas decorations, and this time of the year especially with the football and everything. So it's going really well.
I love the buzz. I love the buzz because this is the time of the year people are so alive anyway. And as you can hear from the background, there is a match going on. Man U is playing. And it's, of course, going to be a crowded place. Take us through some fusion you've created with your Christmas menus in this gastropub, in the other one at Three Falcons. What's going on? Do you mix both cultures together to bring out the story through your food?
Yeah, so we're trying to do a mix of Indian and English, classic English Christmas dishes mixed with Indian food.
Give us examples.
So the other day we tried the keema pao, which is like minced lamb. So because lamb is a very winter English dish, but keema pao is also an Indian classic dish. So we're doing that in our Christmas menu here and at Three Falcons as well.
Great. The two things I tried is a cinnamon ginger pudding, which was extremely Christmassy, very Indian in taste, nutty and spicy, but with the cinnamon, which is the flavor of the season. And the other fusion food I tried was coconut korma with winter greens.
Yeah.
Very creative.
So
do people like it?
People love it, especially we call it our version of the sticky toffee pudding. So that's why it's a very, again, Christmas English dish, but it's completely Indian. It's got an Indian twist to it, and it's made of jaggery. So you should definitely check it out.
As they see, as it can be. Priyanka was here not long ago, Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas. Tell us about that and how celebrities love just being so normal and British, come to a gastropub, eat well, have a good time.
So she walked in because this pub is in the heart of Notting Hill and it's a very trendy area. All the celebrities love pubs and they just walk down.
Thanks for mentioning that. Let's go around the pub if that's okay, just to see how buzzing it is and how trendy and it's a beautiful area of Notting Hill. Yes, go on, Zoram.
So celebrities love it because it's a part of like the Western culture, especially the UK, to just come have a drink in a pub if the pub is nice. So I think that makes a huge difference.
Great. And it's not just now about having a drink, it's also about eating good
Yes,
food,
of
and that's
course.
where the Indian food comes in.
Yeah. So
And Old Delhi.
Old Delhi, yeah. We're trying to, so our concept is we do Old Delhi Indian food in a completely British, English, nice environment.
Great, great. Thank you, Delhi boy. And I hope there's a lot more cheer and joy you spread through Indian food to Londoners here.
Cashback has flow, करते नहीं impress. Life हुई easy, कितना कुछ free, only with single ID. ये भी free, वो भी free, कितना कुछ free, only with single ID. Get it free with single ID. कितने सारे apps हैं मुझसे जुड़े, brands मेरे पास है सबसे बड़े. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Only with single ID. Get it free with single ID.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn rewards with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation. Production excellence to regional leadership. NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your lives.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
from Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of governance, Delhi.
NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip and the spiritual sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Hello and welcome. You're watching The Breakfast Show. I'm Vedant Agarwal. Coming up on the show this morning, well, the intense spell of cold wave likely to begin tomorrow in parts of North India. Also, the complete showdown between superstar Allu Arjun and Telangana. All of that and more coming up. First, a quick look at the headlines. Well, Srinagar records minus 4.5 degrees Celsius. This as Kashmir witnesses its coldest night. Chief Minister rushes to the valley to review the situation. No breather for Delhi. Severe AQI in the national capital at 400. Delhi continues to breathe severe air. Arvind Kejriwal's poll dole for Delhi women. The BJP's jibe. Well, the BJP says, how will Arvind Kejriwal fund all these freebies? Dramatic protests outside Allu Arjun's residence in Telangana. The police says, we are not against Allu Arjun, but citizen safety is a priority. Allu Arjun says, the state is painting me in bad light. India and Kuwait are now strategic partners. This as a key defense cooperation pact is also being inked by the two countries. The Prime Minister says there are limitless possibilities when it comes to India and Kuwait ties. After a prolonged standoff, well, the Champions Trophy will now be held in a neutral venue in the UAE after India snubbed to Pakistan. India is set to play all the Champions Trophy matches in the UAE. This as the Pakistan Cricket Board confirms a neutral venue. Our lead story on The Breakfast Show this morning, well, it's a welfare war in the national capital with Arvind Kejriwal announcing doorstep registration of welfare schemes here in the national capital. And this is significant because remember, Arvind Kejriwal has said that, well, the monthly allowance that was given to women in the national capital will be increased to 2,100 rupees per month if the Aam Aadmi Party is elected to power. But the BJP has now taken a jibe. The BJP says that, well, how will Arvind Kejriwal fund all these welfare schemes given the fact that for the first time in decades, the budget here in the national capital is in deficit, extremely rare for Delhi. So certainly a war of words over welfare schemes in the national capital. But ironic that the BJP is hitting out at the Aam Aadmi Party over welfare schemes given the fact that that has certainly become the order even for the BJP in other poll-bound states, though the BJP of course has yet to release the candidate list. But let's take a look at how this welfare war is playing out here in the national capital.
Welfare at your doorstep. Weeks to go for the polls. Arvind Kejriwal's election reverie for Delhiites is only getting bigger.
हमारे 60 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं उन सभी बुजुर्गों का मुफ्त इलाज, चाहे प्राइवेट हो चाहे सरकारी अस्पताल हो, चाहे अमीर हो चाहे गरीब हो, सबका इलाज दिल्ली सरकार वहन करेगी उसका खर्चा। आज इस स्कीम का हम एक तरह से उद्घाटन कर रहे हैं। इन योजनाओं का लाभ उठाने के लिए वोटर दिल्ली का वोटर होना आवश्यक है। जब हमारी टीम आए तो एक तो वोटर कार्ड तैयार रखें। बहुत बड़े स्केल के ऊपर ये लोग वोट कटवा रहे हैं पूरी दिल्ली के अंदर। ये लोग नहीं चाहते कि आप लोगों को किसी भी तरह का बेनिफिट मिले। ये लोग नहीं चाहते किसी योजना का लाभ आप लोगों को मिले।
The BJP doubled down on its Jumla charge on the Aam Aadmi Party, asking Kejriwal how will he fund his welfare schemes with the capital coffers already empty.
आपके माध्यम से केजरीवाल जी से कहना चाहूँगी कि दिल्ली की जनता के साथ ये चुनावी छलावे बंद करिए। पंजाब की बहनें अभी भी तरस रही हैं। पंजाब में भी यही सेम इन्होंने घोषणा करी थी कि महिलाओं के खाते में पैसे जाएंगे। 2021-22 में ये घोषणा करी थी। अभी भी पंजाब की बहनें एक एक पाई के लिए तरस रही हैं।
Ishika Verma, in fact, is now joining us live. So, Ishika, the point that the BJP is making is important, given the fact that, as we had reported a couple of weeks back, for the first time in decades, Delhi's budget is in deficit. And many would say that it's because of these welfare schemes and freebies, free electricity, free education, all these SOPs. Those are perhaps the reasons for the Delhi budget to be in deficit. How does the Aam Aadmi Party plan to, in a sense, finance these grandiose welfare schemes?
Well, Vedant, as you very rightly mentioned, we have seen that for the first time, the revenue, in fact, of Delhi has gone into a deficit. But the Aam Aadmi Party government here in Delhi again and again reiterates that, they are, in fact, able to afford all those welfare schemes that they are announcing just before the polls. And as you rightly mentioned, in fact, if we talk about today, the registration, the doorstep registration of the two welfare schemes that Arvind Kejriwal himself has announced. One is Mahila Samman Yojana for women, which means, if Aam Aadmi Party is elected back to power, they will be giving 2,100 rupees to every woman. And the second, in fact, is, the Sanjeevani Yojana for the senior citizens here in the national capital, which means that all those, elderly who are above the age of 60, their medical treatment in the private and, in fact, the government hospitals of national capital will be free. So these are the big two-pole promise that, in fact, Arvind Kejriwal, the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, himself had announced. And today, in fact, the doorstep registrations will start. And in fact, what we are also getting to know that Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, and also the Delhi Chief Minister Atashi will themselves be visiting, some places here for the doorstep registrations. Now, why, if we talk about the BJP, the opposition that is continuing to attack the Aam Aadmi Party, questioning whether, they can actually afford it. Well, what is very important to note here is that when this Mahila Samman Yojana, was proposed by the Women and Child Development Department to the Finance Department of the Delhi government, the Finance Department at that very time had said that Delhi's infrastructure and also the revenue won't be able to afford it, and thus had requested the Women and Child Development Department to not bring the draft in the cabinet meet. But certainly, it has already been approved by the cabinet, and now, Arvind Kejriwal saying that the doorstep registrations will begin, but the opposition here saying that, the Finance Department's observation and note certainly, questions as to how will Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party will be able to afford it, and